I don't think I've ever applied to a job online or through handing in my resume and gotten a job. Hey guys, I'm Nicole. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about my transition from college into the real world and how college set me up and prepared me for life. Whether you're in college right now or maybe you're in that awkward season of transition in life, I hope that this video is helpful and maybe gives you a little bit of advice. So before we get started, comment below what school you go to. Are you in college right now? If so, where are you at? What year in school are you? Or if you just graduated, tell me where you graduated from. What is your degree in? And what are you doing now? Or maybe what do you wish you were doing right now? I went to film school at Chapman University. I majored in television and broadcast journalism, and I minored in advertising. This is what a typical broadcast journalism class would look like. I think about 90% of my classes at Chapman were in this control room. I took all kinds of classes ranging from business of TV, history of television, and I think my favorite one was Chapman News, where every Friday we would go live at 12 with a news broadcast that was completely run by students. So our producers, the directors, the TD, which is the person who clicks all the buttons and controls what's actually on the screen, were all of us in the class. And so every week we would rotate positions and you would get to practice playing all of the roles to see what you're most passionate about, but also so that you had the skills to be able to do everything in the newsrooms. So all of the technical things happened here in the control room, and then the studio and the set that we actually filmed Chapman News on is in this room. So this room is really cool because you can set it for whatever you're filming. So right now, it's actually set up as a living room. If you wanted to change it for the news or for a different show or movie that you were filming, you just had to put in a request, and we have a really amazing production designer that would come in and change it and put in different props to make it exactly what you wanted. So one of my classes, we had a spiral staircase and we had a couch with a kitchen table. We learned how to use each of these 3 cameras right here, as well as all the other equipment, so that you're fully equipped to be able to record something like a live or a pre-taped television show. Actually, in high school, I wanted to be a professional dancer and dance on Broadway until I started my YouTube channel and discovered this love and passion for film and photography and using cameras. And so I decided that I thought it would be pretty cool to be an anchor for Good Morning America or host my own traveling cooking show. So I went to Chapman for film school and graduated in 2017. I want to address that my situation and story is a little unique because right after I graduated, I went back to my home state of Washington and I competed for Miss Washington, part of the Miss America organization. And I ended up winning. So I was Miss Washington my first year out of college, and that was my full-time job. So a lot of people had applied to jobs already and moved to a different city and started their careers, while I almost took a year off of my life to be Miss Washington. And it was an incredible experience, but because of that, my life looks a little bit different. Ever since I was a little girl, I'd always wanted to go to Miss America. So growing up, the things I was involved in and everything I did pointed me in that trajectory to one day make it to Miss America. When I was in college, I had to make sacrifices and make decisions for myself that allowed me to reach that goal. Becoming Miss Washington and going to Miss America was the motivation and the driving force behind every decision that I made in college, because I knew that that's what I wanted to do right when I graduated. If I could give one piece of advice, just one blanket statement of how I feel like college prepares you for the real world, is networking. No matter what job or what industry you're going into, what career you want, networking is key. Ever, I have only gotten jobs from the people that I know. College is an amazing place to network because your peers, the people that are around you, are the next CEOs, they're the next presidents of the companies, and you never know who could be your next boss. So be nice to people, be their friends, be social. I think there needs to be a healthy balance between academics and your social life, because it's the people that you meet and the relationships that you establish in college that are going to benefit you in the future and potentially lead to a job. Networking certainly translated in my job as Miss Washington because of the people I knew. Doors opened for me where opportunities came up where I was able to speak somewhere or volunteer at an organization or partner with an amazing event. So get good grades in college, but also make relationships a priority. Not knowing people to get something from them and to use them, but genuinely be their friend and get to know them as a person. I think one of the biggest changes between college and the real life that has the biggest shock factor is that there's a lot more responsibility. There is a huge leap of responsibility from high school to college because you're probably living on your own for the first time. You don't have your parents around, but you're still probably financially dependent on them and you still rely on them for some things. But when you get out of college, there's a lot more responsibility. You start having to pay for bills, you are living on your own, you're probably working at a job or in a career, and that's a lot to take on at once. Nobody's gonna tell you what to do or how to make it work. There's no rule book for life or any right way or wrong way to do it, and really you have the freedom to make the life that you want. But with that comes a lot of responsibility. So you can make it a great life, or you can make it an average life, or you can make decisions that make it a really poor life. It's kind of scary, but it's also thrilling to know that we have that power and that freedom to choose how we live our lives and how we conduct each day, whether we get up early and be productive or just being a good steward of our time. All that responsibility falls on you, but it's actually a good thing. If you still rely heavily on your parents or you're financially dependent, all of those things are fine, but I feel like when you're in college, that's a great place and a great space to practice being responsible, even if it seems silly or even if it's just small things. If you do something every single day that will help you get a little bit closer to being independent, that'll help you when all that responsibility comes as soon as you graduate. Kind of on that note, I feel like growing up, we're told that there is a certain path that you have to take. You know, you go to middle school, you go to high school, you graduate, and you go to college. And right after college, you get a job and you start your career. You get married, have a family of 4 kids with a white picket fence, and that's the American dream. I think that's amazing, but I don't think that's reality, and I don't think that is the way for everyone. I think every path is unique, and I feel like you should be empowered to own your path and own the decisions you make, because it doesn't have to look like that. There's no cookie cutter for life. And for example, when I graduated, or right before I graduated college, a friend of mine dared me to apply to the Culinary Institute of America. And I laughed at her because I don't know anything about culinary arts, but I applied as a joke. And about a week later, I got an email saying, "Congratulations, you've been accepted to the Culinary Institute of America." And so my plan was to graduate from college and go to culinary school so that I could take my culinary degree and my television degree and smash them together and have a traveling cooking show. But right when I graduated, I became Miss Washington, and they moved me to Seattle the next day, and that was my full-time job for a year. So I had to defer my enrollment, and I didn't go to culinary school. I want to encourage you to, one, have a plan. It's not a bad thing to look into the future and to have goals and to plan these things about your life, but don't be upset if the plan doesn't go the way you think. I can guarantee you your future is not gonna look like what you think it will. It most likely will be better, but you have to be willing to hold those things loosely and let go of control so that God can bless you in your future and the path that He wants you to take. Going to culinary school would have been incredible, but being Miss Washington was an even greater blessing because I was able to serve my community, meet so many people, and travel all the way across the country. And I still have the option to go to culinary school. So basically all I'm saying is go with the flow and trust that there is a plan and you're on the right path. If you're in college right now, use these opportunities to learn and to grow and to discover more about who you are. This is such a fun time in your life to really figure out who you are as a person and how that's gonna shape your future and what you're going to do. Remember that the decisions that you make and everything you're doing now is going to directly impact and affect your future and what you do right outside of college. And so think about where you wanna be and make sure you point yourself in that direction. If you're out of college, if you've just graduated and maybe you're in this transition season where you don't know what the heck you're doing with your life and you don't have a job, you don't have a career, you're living under your parents' roof, it's okay. Breathe and know that you're not alone. I was in that same situation. I still don't know what the heck I'm doing with my life, and I honestly just make it up every single day. But that's the beauty and that's the excitement, is the unknown and trusting that there is a plan and taking it one thing at a time, putting one foot in front of the other and being faithful with what you're called to do in this moment. Be a good steward of your time. Plug yourself into community, meet different people, say yes. Say yes to everything, but know your limits and know when you need to say no as well. I hope this video encouraged you. I'd love to hear about your experience and maybe what season of life you're at so that I can pray for you on your journey. So comment below, tell me where you're from and what college you go to or what you're doing now in life. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and as always, find me on Instagram at Nicole the Nomad for more daily encouragement. Thank you so much for watching today. We'll see you next time.